What is going on, moto friends? Sorry about that clack. Ghost Bandit here. There we go. So, I want to talk about why the Honda Ruckus sucks, and on a related note, why I'm selling it. Now, keep in mind, this Ruckus that you see me on is my second one. So I'm very experienced in the Honda Ruckuses. Alright, it's my second one. I've got 1,150 miles on this one, and I had like 2,500 on my other one. Now, when I bought these, I didn't have my motorcycle license, right? And when I bought the first one, I actually lived in the city. I shouldn't say city, I'll say town. And it made sense. It made sense to have it, you know, riding through town, they're great, you know, 25, 30 mile an hour roads. You see me now, we're just kind of... Also, I hope that you guys are able to see stuff a bit better now, with this new GoPro. You'll see me now like we're doing 25. You know, 25 is no problem. It has plenty of power left. I'm just keeping it a little slower so we can keep it a little quieter for this video. But number one is that it is slow. Even if, you know, I've done DoorDash on this. I did DoorDash on my last one. If you're in the city, where I live in Rhode Island, so if you're in the city, that'd be Providence, people don't want to deal with you, even when you're doing the speed limit. Like, most people out there are doing 35 on those roads, and of course they accelerate faster than you, nobody wants to be stuck behind you, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's going to be probably, if you talk to anybody's number one complaint. Now, there are modifications. On my bike, I have the exhaust, I have the intake, I have new jets, I have a Polini variator, I have a CDI, like, I have all the stuff. And so mine will do mid-40s, but it takes a while to get there. And if there's any hills, like, it's not happy about them. Like, the second there's a hill, that 45 becomes 25. So that's the number one thing that I hate about my Ruckus. The rest of these things are also equally important, but that right there should be your deciding factor on whether or not you're going to buy one of these. Is whether or not you can deal with the slow speed. So yeah, so that's number one. So number two, the suspension. And when I say the suspension, I mean the lack of. There's basically no suspension on these. The travel for the suspension, I think in the front is like 2.2 inches and the rear is like 2.5 inches. That's nothing. Modern sport bikes usually have like 6 inches of travel front and back, and ride like freaking clouds compared to this thing. You won't notice it because Hyper Smooth is on, but like, just hitting bumps, like, it basically just goes right into your back. Like, my back hurts riding this for long periods of time because of how it rides. And number two, I mean, and so that'll end that. I mean, I have upgraded my rear suspension. I have the Doppler air shock. It's one of the best shocks on the market. Well, I should say was the best shock on the market. They don't manufacture them anymore. Well, they do, but in a longer length. I think that there wasn't enough of us buying them, so they stopped making them. Your next choice would be like the NCY shock, or the NCY, I think it's the Forza shock. I had one of those, it's not good. My Doppler was better. So yeah. So the suspension's terrible. If you are a smaller, skinny person, like if you're a female or you weigh under 150 pounds, this might work for you. The fork I actually don't have that many complaints about. It does an alright job. It's just the rear shock that's really terrible. Granted, they do make upgrades. They make NNTHBX makes an upgraded fork spring kit. I think it's like, I don't know, 80 bucks. I never bothered just because it didn't bother me enough. But yeah, so there are some options there. But that's number two. If you're not small, this bike is going to hurt your back. Number three is going to be comfort in general. So I know I talked about that, But first off, you don't fit on these. So I have a blade seat frame, which is the lowest and farthest back seat frame, basically. Like it's as low down and as far back as any of the other ones. People will try to tell you that the Dorf seat frame is lower or farther back, or there's another company called FLP, I believe, that just came out with a seat frame. They're identical. This is as far back and as low as you can get, and it's still not great. So on these rear pegs, it's not bad, but you're not gonna be able to see these, but there's rear pegs. When we get to the stop sign, I'll show you these rear pegs. Rear pegs are great, and if you guys watch my videos, you'll know that I installed some like lazy boy pegs for the front. The lazy boy pegs are too far away. If I move these back, so like my legs aren't bent at all, so that doesn't work for me. They do make another peg set that goes up here, but even that, like, I don't know, it just feels weird. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you the other pegs. Whoops. So those are the rear ones. The rear ones are better. One of mine's twisted right now. I'm just too lazy to fix it. But ignoring that part, the seat itself is not comfortable if you're a full-size human. This seat, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. Like, it's soft, but it's not like thick enough. So even though it's soft, once it compacts down, it just becomes a hard seat. So it's not great. Oops, sorry about that. Ugh. So yes, the seat's not great. Now you can buy seat covers from I forgot the company off my top of my head. Supposedly they put a little bit of cushioning in them. You can also buy like the ATV seat cover, but the ATV seat cover looks nice and it's a gel top, and that's pretty nice. I haven't used one of those, but maybe that would fix this problem. But you still run into the problem that the seat, like the rest of it, is just bad. The other comfort problem I have is the handlebars, and not necessarily the handlebars, but these grips. If you notice these grips, your hand doesn't fit on these. Like, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but like my hand's all the way to the edge. So if you want to run bar end mirrors like I had, which you guys might have seen in a previous few videos, you lose that little bit of extra space, basically. Like, your hands have no extra room, like it's just the one position. So yeah, so that really sucks. I wish they would, and if you've ridden a motorcycle, like a dirt bike, or maybe not a pit bike, but a dirt bike or a full-size bike, you'll see that they're a lot longer. Like, I could easily have like this much extra, like if you can see this on this side, extra room of like an inch or 2 inches extra, and still not be touching like my bark busters or anything. So yeah, so comfort's a problem. Number 4, no internal storage. So most scooters that you see are going to have internal storage. Now for me, this wasn't a big deal. But the only thing that this thing has on it for storage is a helmet hook. So you can hook your helmet on and lock it in. But if you have a lowered seat frame like I do, getting access to that helmet lock is actually a pain in the butt. So I don't even use it. But when I had like a stock height seat, it was great. It was usable. So yeah, there's no storage anywhere. Most of them will have internal helmet storage, and then when you're wearing the helmet, you can use that to store groceries. Now, underneath the seat frame on these, you can buy panels or make something, but that seat frame is even the stock one doesn't have that much room. Like, you might be able to fit 2 2-liter bottles in it, but that's it. And they're just not great. They're just little plastic panels that like essentially zip tie on. I mean, they do have a lock, but you know, it's not like it's secure or anything. Now, number 5, and my final complaint. You'll put down in the comments what you think my final complaint is. Alright, obviously we've gone over speed, comfort, storage, and ergonomics. No, not ergonomics. I don't know what the other thing I said was. Anyways, number 5 is theft. I cannot leave this thing anywhere. I am paranoid that this thing is going to get stolen. if you go on the Honda Ruckus groups, you will see Ruckuses on there for sale all the time, broken down in parts. You don't know if that's got a legit title or not. You see people looking all the time trying to buy frames with no titles. It is freaking the amount of these that get stolen. I wouldn't be surprised if more of these get stolen every year than they sell every year. Like, it's that bad. It's the Honda Civic of motorcycles. I wouldn't be surprised if more Honda Ruckuses are stolen as a single model than any other motorcycle in the US, because they're just, it's so easy to sell parts. Everybody will buy the parts off of these things, no questions asked. And that's a problem. So those are my 5 things of why the Honda Ruckus sucks and why you should really think about buying one before you get one. I know I had like a 10 things you need to think about before buying one. These are just some additional things that I think are important, even more so now that I've ridden it for a while and now that I have gotten my motorcycle license. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. This is going up for sale in my home state. I'm not going to post a link to it or anything, but if you guys check your local Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, you'll see it for sale if you're in my area. If it doesn't sell, I have a dealership that I want to trade it into. I've already bought a motorcycle, so in the next few days you should get a video on that as well. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys all have a great night. I'm probably going to do one more Ruckus video before I trade this in, but that'll be the end. So if you guys have any ideas for a final video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And as always, I read all of your comments, and I thank everybody for subscribing, liking, and commenting. And have a great night.